back to the newest video here from the Temple of Cornwall. So for those of you who don't know who I am personally, my name is Rebecca Burgess and I'm the creatrix and mother priestess of the Temple of Cornwall, as well as being a sacred celebrant, a writer and an oracle, amongst many other things. And the temple is, how old are we now? I'm going to say about a year and a half, I think, roughly. We're about a year and a half old, and we're currently fundraising to open a permanent public temple space to the public, to those people in Cornwall that want to come and visit and worship everything Cornwall with us. So today's video is going to be all about the god Cernunnos, the Celtic god. Now, a bit of a disclaimer, this will just be, I'm sure you're all grown enough to know this anyway, but just a disclaimer just in case. This is my personal view of Cernunnos and also the temple's view as well, and how I and we like to work with him, how, what he helps us with. But yeah, go and find your own avenues and paths for them. If this doesn't resonate with you, but the god Cernunnos does, don't worry, don't feel like you have to interpret what we're saying. Feel free to go off and explore your own avenues with him. That'll be just as lovely and even more powerful for you as well. But if what I say does resonate with you, then lovely, stay tuned and enjoy. Also, a little bit of a disclaimer about the pronunciation of Cernunnos. Like most Celtic and anything that, uses an ancient language, there are many different modern day pronunciations of the name Cernunnos. So the way I pronounce it is the way that I pronounce it because that's how I was raised to pronounce it. But I'm aware that you may have your own different pronunciations of Cernunnos. And I'm a firm believer that the way we pronounce things it holds a resonance in a body. If you think about science is a big word for this, but science is the word I'm going to use. If you think about the science behind that idea, then it's, the way that the sound waves move through your throat and out into the world, kind of speaking your reality, your inner reality into outer existence. It's that idea of the resonance that the molecules, the cells, whatever it is that creates the sound waves, it's the resonance that they hold that creates an effect within the body and therefore the soul and mind as well. So that's why I pronounce Cernunnos. You can pronounce it however you like. So, Cernunnos, who is he? He is the Celtic god of the wild, and that is a mighty title to bear, but one he does oh so well. So he is obviously masculine presenting. He is on the male end of the gender spectrum, but you can view him whichever way makes sense to you. And bear in mind, there's also lots of feminine goddesses and also lots of non-binary or gender fluid deities that kind of fill this role as well within other Parthenons as well within the spiritual community. So don't worry if the wildness speaks to you, but the gender doesn't. You can do what you want with that. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? So yes, the Celtic god of the wild. And he was the first god that really resonated with me. He's the first god that made sense to me. I think being raised in like a predominantly Christian country at the time, I was just a bit sick to the teeth of singing hymns to a Christian god I don't believe in at school and having to do all these things to a Christian god that I don't believe in. And then Cernunnos came around and I was like, ooh, oh, this is a god I could get behind. So what does he do? What is his purpose? What role does he fulfill? So, Celtic god of the woodland is another way to view him. He is this, especially if you're masculine or masculine presenting, or more on that end of the gender spectrum, he will call to that wild part of yourself that longs to protect. He's a great protector. He's in the temple, if it's just me on my own or, me with any other women, we will call in Cernunnos to protect the sacred space that we're working on and to protect us within it as well, to make sure that no creeps come around and disturb us, and no disturbances in general. He's very good at keeping the creeps away. So yes, ladies, if you don't want any more of those unsolicited pictures in your inbox, get onto Cernunnos. He will sort them right out for you. It's beautiful. Or anybody who gets unsolicited pictures. Yeah, call on Cernunnos and he'll help you with that. So he's a great protector of anyone, but also of Mother Earth. I like to think of him as her guardian almost, trying to I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. So we'll move on from that. But yes, he's her guardian, I like to think, with a sword at his side when he needs to be there as protector. And he's also that part of us that, apologies for that. He's also that part of us that longs to be wild, or more wild than we already are. He's this, if you're somebody who, works 9 to 5, everything is very, by society's standards, westernized society's standards, very traditional, very normative, and that's something that you want to break out of, then he is the god to help you with that. He will assist you in kind of chiseling your own path forward, and just bringing yourself back to your authenticity, bringing yourself back to that part of you that is incredibly wild and has never really been tamed, has just been subdued. He will help to enliven and awaken that part of you as well. And he's also the masculine side of the lover deity. The lover deity or the lover archetype. He's obviously the masculine side of the feminine, such as Rhiannon, for example, or Aphrodite. And this is, I think a lot of people can understandably so get triggered by the idea of masculine as lover. So I won't go into that too much, because I presume many of you that are watching this haven't necessarily signed up for that. But if that's a separate video that you want me to do, let me write this idea down, because I always forget them. If that's like a separate video or like a Temple Time live that you'd want, then let me know. Mask as lover. So yes, you can either explore that in your own time, or just drop a comment down below and let me know if you want me to talk more about the masculine deities as lovers, or the archetype of lovers, not like, those headlines where it's like, a ghost is my boyfriend and we're getting married. That's not what I mean. I mean the lover archetype in a masculine role. If you want me to talk more about that, then just leave a comment and let me know. So where can we find Cernunnos? Where is he usually prowling and lurking and causing such fun? He's usually found in the Celtic woodlands. So my geography is notoriously bad, but as far as I'm aware, the Celtic nations start at Scotland and all the Scottish Isles, all the way through the UK and like the northwest of France, Brittany, that kind of area. Obviously the islands in between the UK and Brittany and France as well. So any woodlands there is where you'll find him. But also anywhere where there's a bit of a commotion going on, where there's a bit of, it's like at protests, for example. I think there's Bridie is one of the goddesses I like to think of as like the youthful, activist, rebellious goddess. But then, you do need the balance of if you've got a strong feminine, you do need the balance of the strong masculine. I like to think that Cernunnos is very curious about protests and comes to protect those that choose to protest, and keep you all safe against everything that happens at a protest, unfortunately. But yes, he can be found wherever there is a bit of a ruckus going on, wherever there is a cause to be had as well. Anywhere where there's somebody's trying to create a stir in the best possible ways, such as a protest, where anybody's trying to challenge the norm, he can be found there. And you can always call him into your space wherever you are. You don't have to be in a woodland or at a protest to call on Cernunnos. He will be with you whenever you want him to be there, wherever you may be. So don't feel like I can only be in a Celtic woodland to do that, because if you live in America, chances are you might never be in a Celtic woodland and therefore would miss out on working with such a phenomenal god. So do just call him into your space wherever you are. He will be there for you, definitely. So why would we want to work with Cernunnos? So, from all the reasons that I mentioned and then what he can help us with, I think that the main one that I think many of you would resonate with the most is tapping into your wildness. But before you get to that point, you have to break free, or start to break free, of the matrix, the 9 to 5 Western society normative, everything. Begin to break free of that in ways that is true to you. I mean, don't, if you love your 9 to 5 job, don't break out of that just because some priestess on the internet said it might be a good idea. Nope. You listen to your own head and heart. You be empowered. You make that choice yourself. But yes, beginning to question your role in the society that we've created, and how authentic that is for your truth. And Cernunnos, coming back to my original point, Cernunnos can help you begin that questioning process and the physical process of perhaps leaving your job, perhaps selling your car and buying a push bike instead, whatever it might be to you. He will help you break free, and he tends to work a lot in through nature itself. So if you're, he might not necessarily come through in dream time, although again, he may do for you, but this is just my experience. He doesn't necessarily come through in dream time. It's more that perfectly coloured leaf dropping at just the right time, just as you're having a thought like, maybe I should leave my job, and then a red leaf drops, and you take that as your sign. You feel and know that's your sign to leave your job. Or, you hear a bird singing in the morning and its tune sounds familiar, or it sounds like it's perhaps talking to you. Listen to those moments, listen to the silence, the bird song, anything in nature. He will talk to you through that way as well. And there's obviously many beautiful guided meditations where you can go and meet Cernunnos as well, and ask him questions and get lovely gifts from him, give gifts back. So do seek those out on YouTube and any other platform where they might be. I don't think I've got any made public. No, I haven't, but do keep an eye out because there's probably going to be one at some point in the future here for the temple. So yes, he will help you begin to break free and obviously talk to you through nature, through how you interpret nature, how you interpret the omens that nature provides for you there as well. So how do we connect with Cernunnos, this Celtic god of the wild, this very Beltane-esque energy god? How do we connect with him? So my personal favourite way is going out onto some sacred land and causing a ruckus. And by that, I don't mean being disrespectful, far from it. I mean, taking my drum, just being, as long as there's nobody else there, obviously, being loud and dancing and singing and just really allowing my body to first feel free and wild and connecting in with that part of me. And then obviously mind follows and soul is always at that point anyway. But yes, kind of creating that rhythmic flow between all three of those things, mind, body and soul. And to me, that's what I mean by causing a ruckus. Go out to a spiritual site and connect in with your wild self in any way that you can. And especially if it's pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, just a little step at a time. If you want to bungee jump, and I would presume that's pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone. If not, you're a very brave person. But yes, if that's pushing yourself outside the comfort zone, do that in honor of Cernunnos. Anything that's a little bit wild, a little bit just on the right side of uncomfortable, dedicate that act to Cernunnos as well. And any way that you connect with your wild person, do that in dedication to Cernunnos as well. Call him in to be around you as you perform those acts. So like I said, for me, it's singing, dancing, and just causing, making music in any way I can, really. Dedicate those acts to him and call him in to be around about you. And you can also, if you're somebody with a morning ritual, spiritual practice, you can call him in at the start of your day there. You can invite him to be round about you and, ask him then, Cernunnos, may you guide me towards an answer about my job whilst, that's the kind of topic that we're looking at, whatever it might be. And then he will probably pretty swiftly, knowing him, he will come in and teach you more about the thing that you asked him about, or just be around you and help you connect him with your wildness that way as well. And obviously every deity, every elemental being loves offerings. So if you don't have anything like the bungee jump, for example, to dedicate and offer to Cernunnos, anything like nuts and seeds, anything that is very earthy, very natural, he would love, and do leave out in the wild spaces for him. And by wild, if you live in city centre London, there's only so wild it can get, really. So either, go to your local park, or if you've got like a garden box, use one of those. Just leave your offering there and put your intentions into the offering to send your gratitude and your love and your honourings to Cernunnos. And you can thank him for, very specific, particular things if you want, or you can thank him for just being in your life in general. I think that's everything I wanted to say about Cernunnos. If Cernunnos, and particularly this view, this take of Cernunnos really resonates with you, then do look into our priest, priestess and priestess of Cornwall training. The new intake of students, they start on Mabon. When's that this year? 22nd of September. And the doors will close about a week before. So that is the 15th of September. So as long as we've had our consultation and you've paid your deposit, then you will begin your training then. So yes, do get in contact with me if you want to learn more about that and have the consultations. There's no strings attached. There's no presumptions that you will or have to come on the course. It's just a chance for us to get to know each other, and you can ask me more questions there. But I'll leave a link in the box below, in the description box, for the Priestess of Cornwall training as well. So priest and priestess of Cornwall training as well. But if you've got any questions, leave them in the comments. I probably will do that masculine deity as lover video, but just, yeah, I don't want to bring it up too much in this video because some of you might not be, that's not what this video is about necessarily. So yes, enjoy the rest of your week. I will hopefully see you next week if I stay on track with my YouTube videos. Then I will see you then. Enjoy your week, lovelies. Many blessings to you. Bye.